Okay.
Just let this go on for a little bit. Let our viewers join in.
How many people are joining in today?
Usually we get about 20-25 people.
What's the agenda? What is going to happen today?
Okay, so what we're going to do is listen to all the demos that have been submitted, and me and you will basically give our 2 cents on how we like it, or if we don't like something, we'll give critique. Basically, it's like a live feedback session, bro.
The feedback session. Okay, very. So what kind of music is going to be? Techno, electronic?
Not necessarily, because I mean, there's a whole bunch of range of music that we usually get. There's like some deep house, there'll be some techno also will be, there'll probably be some psytrance as well. So we don't have like any cap on like what kind of music they can send in.
Mhm.
So that way
And
it's a little more diverse. There's a whole bunch of range. Cool. I think we're already live on YouTube. Just waiting for a few more viewers to join us.
We'll get to know how many we are, right?
Yeah, I can see a few people have already joined in. 5 people are here. Let this go on for a little bit. Let our viewers join. Hi, guys. Whoever's here, welcome to Eavesdrop. We have a very special guest this evening with us, all the way from France. Give it up for Rummy Sharma. Rummy is also a founder of a music school and a film school in France, which is known as 3IS. And he's also been a DJ and a producer for probably older than I am, Rummy.
No, I think I've been DJing for 30 years plus. Yeah, producer, maybe properly a producer since 10, 12 years.
Super. Yeah. So Rummy is a legend in the scene, guys, and we're very happy to have him with us, join us for this session.
Thank you very much.
So we'll just wait a little longer before we start off for the day. Let more of our viewers join in. It's only been 2 minutes since we started the stream. Hi, Saurabh. Hi, Dash. Good to see you guys. I'll have the first track ready in the meanwhile to play. Once more people are here, then we can kick it off. But we can just do a quick sound check. Let me know if you can hear this. Yeah, guys, please let me know in the chat if you could hear that. Somebody on the chat thinks the way you pronounce your name, Rummy, is Rummy.
Rummy is like a card game, man. Rummy.
It's like the card game.
Card game, Rummy. I used to have this lot of this harassment when I was a child. People, school kids, they used to call me Rummy, Mummy. So I used to come back home and cry.
I know some of our parents really do us a little thing with naming us.
Torture.
I have quite a lot. Actually, I got picked on quite a bit in school.
But your name is cool, Ashrit. Right?
Yeah, that's my name for everybody else. But my full name, if you see on the passport, I look like a Spanish guy. It's like 4 words.
No. 4 words. I think European, they have 4 names. Like for example, they'll have the grandparents' name coming in somewhere in between. So it's always
exactly. Okay, I think we have enough people who've joined us here. So let's kick this off. So I'm going to start with the first track for the day. The track is called, it doesn't really have a name. It's just called Version 1 by Talin. Talin is one of our students, DJ students, who's also foraying into making music now. So let's hear this tune and let's give our 2 cents. And Rummy, you can mute your mic while I'm playing the track.
I can.
Okay, a lovely deep house tune to start off an easy Sunday evening. What do you think, Rummy? What do you have to say about the track? I think you're muted. You're muted.
Okay, sorry. Personally, I'm not a deep house guy, but I used to produce deep house stuff, definitely, right? I personally, what I heard, the mix down could be better, especially the drums, right? So everything is on your face, the kick kind of goes away, especially on the dance floor. I think you need more, if you want to make it deep house. I personally would like to listen to more crunchy, like low ends going in and some variation automation in the drum set, when your drums are moving a little bit up and down. And I think a mix down of those, the main parts to call and say whatever you guys call it, like, the main melodies coming in and out. That could have some modulation going in and out and some, some release, some tension to break down to make it more, you start a track. For me, you start a track, there's an intro, you get into kind of the mood, and then you continue the mood, the story, and then it has to fool around with people. That basically, as a DJ, if you're playing as a DJ, you always want to fool around with the people, but you give them what they want, but you also take what you want. So you give them little bit surprises up and down. So little bit of those transitions could be, or like build-ups could be better. Can create the make this track really cool actually. And maybe some other element of like some. Personally, I would like hypnotic vocals coming in some or the other, some talking coming in in and out of the at the background, a drone kind of a sound. Yes, this is what I would say. Overall, the track is I think for me it will be a beginning of it's a solid foundation for a good track.
I think Rummy, I don't think I should add anything because you stole the words right out of my mouth.
Really? I don't think so.
But definitely, I totally agree with you when it comes to the mix down. I felt like the drums were lacking a bit. Maybe especially the kick was just right in your face and everything else was just in the background. And also a track like this could be a little more playful. I really like the idea of adding a vocal as well to this. Even I used to make deep house about 10 years ago, and I'd made a track like this, and I'd found a black guy just talking something on YouTube, and I just used that as an acapella, and it worked really well for a track like this. And nonetheless, I think it was a really good track to start off our session with. So yeah, thank you so much, Talin, for sending us your music. We hope to hear more music from you. Thanks, Supreet, saying my glasses are nice and nerdy. Yeah, I just got these glasses a while back.
I was cooking, you told me when you reminded me I have to come online for this. So I've not even had a shower. I came down to the studio.
Super. So cool. I think we have a techno track coming up next from Black
Alright.
Flip, who's been around in the scene for a little bit. But yeah, I wasn't sure what he's been up to in terms of producing music. So here's a track by him, which is called Erratic Syndrome. Let's check it out. Just my only feedback would be that the kick is just so much in the back in this one, like, the opposite of what happened in the previous track. Kick was in your face in the previous track, but in this one it's so way in the back, not able to feel that thump and that punch from the kick. But I feel like the other elements were spot on. Very nice, like melodic movement as well with the lead. Quite enjoyed listening to that. What about you, Rummy?
I think for me it is almost perfect, but I would play a loop part of it. For example, if I have to DJ, I will use it as a loop, right? Obviously, keeping in mind the kick needs to little bit adjustment and everything, like a mixed down again, the mixing issue, which is always a problem with kicks and bass. Is always a problem. In fact, with me also when you listen to it too many times. And the main, like a synthy, like a modular kind of a sound, which is the the thing which is like a melodic part. Yeah, that could possibly create some, some brain fuck kind of a thing in between, maybe during the breakdown, or after the breakdown, maybe one more element which kind of, kind of start supporting that main melody. That would be nicer. That then the track becomes fuller. Then you play the track from the beginning till the end. Normally, what happens to techno DJs, there's some cool loops. That's what I do. There's some cool loops. You keep playing them, shifting up and down, like Jeff Mill used to do. They used to play only one loop or something like that, and then start creating a story. But when a track is good, you want to play that part. So you want to let the track go till that part, and because that's where the story of the main part, the heart of this track comes out. So for me, another element and some brain fuck kind of a thing going on with the delays or whatever, with the little bit changes up and down in the MIDI, whatever, could possibly create a really a very, very strong track. So for example, I would give it 8.5 out of 10. If that kind of thing will happen, I will definitely keep it in my USB now, not in a record bag, in my USB and play it.
It's funny how when you started off, you would probably call it a record bag, but now,
yeah. Yeah, so it's now USB now.
Exactly. But yeah, really cool track. Quite like it.
Very good. Yeah.
All right, so let's listen to the next one. Okay, so this is somebody who's been sending us demos from the very first edition of Eavesdrop.
I'm not so good.
Some brain fuck, like you call it, Rummy. But it's Psytrance, and this time I think he sent us a track which is at 180 BPM. So I think let's.
Well, what's his name?
His name is Dash. I think he's on the chat room as well.
Dash, and the guy from Erotic Syndrome. What was his name? I missed the name.
Oh yeah, that was Black Flip.
Black Flip. Okay.
Yeah. Why don't you do one thing? Just open Beatworks YouTube channel, and you can see the chat as well, and you can interact with everyone also if you want.
I think better no. I'll stay to this one only. Where is it? No. Anyway.
All right, so let's hear the next track in line from Dash. His artist name is Sinister Realms, and the track is called The Gift of Gab. Let's check it out.
Good, because you were leaving all over the road there.
Well, can we get one thing straight? You know what would be good is if you...
Dancer?
Yeah, felt like I was transported straight into Hilltop or Banana
Yeah,
Forest.
Goa. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, was there any room to add any more elements?
For me, to be honest with you, what I would say, first of all, I think I should not be commenting good or bad on it because it's not my style of music, right? My saying yes, it's great, could possibly mislead you, and my criticizing it can also possibly mislead you. The only thing I would say, for example, if I want to listen to a track like this, the vocals are nice. I like these kind of vocals which are going like in the background, but it could have some more, more what do you call it, treatment. We could do possibly some filtering, bringing in more reverb in and out, something more special. You know, I like those kind of things. Vocals at the back going on, right? Which is very at the moment is very hip, and especially the hard techno thing, which is almost French guys play this kind of 180 BPM, but they play a very hard techno.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like Goa trance, but with a hard techno, but they have this kind of cheesy vocals also, but they have some cool vocals coming in at the background going in. But it has some story, it's like more like a drone, you know.
Yeah, I think it was well produced. The kick and bass were like proper tight. But yeah, I think it could have been a little more playful with the arrangement. I mean, there was a whole bunch of elements going on, and they were interacting really well with each other, no doubt. But yeah, I think take the feedback that Rummy's given you and try something out. Dash, would love to hear more of this from you. And yeah, thanks always for sending us the music. Let's check out the next one. Next one is called Escapes by Harsh.wave. I liked a few of the elements in the track, but I just felt like it's a bit confused, like overall what it's trying to say, the track. The elements are quite nice, some of them. In terms of arrangement, I felt like some things could be dropped here and there. I felt like that there was this one pitch bend kind of a string or pad or whatever that kept going on from the intro till the outro. And I don't like repeating themes like these that just keep on going on throughout the track, personally. But yeah, I think you could have a little bit more of a structure on the track, and that could bring something cool to this experimental tune. Rummy?
For me, yeah. For me, they were again cool parts, really cool, almost like they're cool parts. You could play them as a loop, but they did not last long enough. It was changing too fast. Again, as I said, it was a bit too confused. And the stringy part going on. Yeah, it could possibly go in and fade in and out. It could possibly have some modulation, some filtration, blah, 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 things going in. And the drums could have been more, should be more, a little bit more, yeah,
Punchy.
they have to be more punchy and defined. I think they should, designing drums, designing sounds is a long process. You know, even after 20 years, you possibly realize, okay, we're still shit. So that's with me, you know. So because the consumption is changing, the people, the kind of music they listen, how they listen is changing. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's good to start with, right? But yes, the story, there has to be one story going on. There should be one story, you know, there should be one message. Okay, this is what I'm trying to do on the dance floor.
Yes, for sure. I think there are all the elements, promising elements in a track, just needs a little bit more structure. But nonetheless, great effort, Harsh.
So what I will tell Harsh, try to say no. You know, try to cut the thing. Okay, everything sounds good when you make track. I have 100 elements. I like this element, I like this element, but sometimes they don't work together. But in your thing, it was working together, but try to make it less and try to make it more impact. Give more impact with one element or lesser elements. And, you know, it has one story going on.
Yes. So let's just take a quick break, Rummy, from listening to music, and let's talk about the poster behind you about boot camp.
Oh, yes, this one. Okay. It is this is one of the ones where you were there, right? Thanks to you.
Yes.
You know, it was a success, and the boot camp. And we're
So
repeating it
let me
again
just give
year.
everyone a brief about what boot camp is. So Rummy started the boot camp sometime last year. I think early this year.
This year was May was the first one.
May, and he'd got a whole bunch of artists put together along with a lot of students from around the country and from even outside the country as well. It was great fun. Like we were all together, and the students and mentors had a ball of a time, like interacting with each other and learning from one another. So bootcamp is this open education format that Rummy's come up with, and he plans on doing frequent editions of these as well. So why don't you talk a little bit about how it all started and where it's all going, Rummy?
So bootcamp basically is, after I moved to France, I started working in university, and I realized I don't want to, like, I'm getting older. You know, I don't like to travel too much. I want to stay away from alcohol and all this stuff, because I used to own nightclubs in India. So I started getting into this education thing, and I really enjoy it. And this education, teaching music and everything keeps me younger. So I thought, okay, and then I realized there are a lot of Indian DJs like you, and there are a lot of other guys, younger guys, who have much more fire in the belly to achieve something than the ones I teach in France. The French guys are not very hungry for success, you know. So I realized, okay, I should do something. And these guys have resources, you know. These guys have a lot of things happening here because of the government and because of the market. And in India, we don't have enough synthesizers. You know, there are people who are hungry, but there's no institute as such, right? We have DJ schools, we have academies, but they are focused on one guy, for example, and they remain up to that level, which I used to also have it in India, right? So that's how I decided, okay, I will create a kind of a platform, kind of a, like, kind of a organization which will teach, right, all the things, and we get the specialists, you know, and I should be the least important guy in this thing, and everybody else will play the role, whoever is better than me in that one. For example, in Ableton, we were teaching Electron, you were teaching, then we had Alex Kidd on teaching on Max for Live. Somebody was teaching on business thing. Skip was teaching scratching. Tuhin was teaching art of DJing. So everybody was teaching something or the other. So, and then we said, okay, let's do something like that. We all go together, bring in some students who are really, really interested, who want to, step up their level. It's an advanced course, and, do networking, understand the new technology coming in, basically stepping up the game, basically taking a level up. So that's how I decided. That's how I approached you guys, and I approached Arjun. I approached other guys. Okay, if you want to participate on this thing, the first one, and you guys participated without any financial help, without any financial reimbursement, and which was good. And it was a success actually. And I was expecting 12 students, and we got, I think, 23, right, altogether in different formats.
Yeah, I think
so, which is a
25 students. Yeah, it was great fun to bring everyone together and also have so much gear that everybody can try their hands out on. I think, yeah, that was a key takeaway for me personally.
I think the main selling point was that mentors, gear, and the topics we chose, like Maxwell Live and Electron Live Performance and everything, which is a future, which I think is a future. And I think Indians, Indian DJs, Indian guys who are in music, they are hungry for this and they want to learn it. And they were very, very good actually. In fact, my French guy, Alex, was surprised. What he would take 7 days to teach in France, it took him less than 1 day to teach in India to those guys,
Yeah.
So it was really, really nice.
Yeah. So for those of our viewers who don't know what bootcamp is, so bootcamp is a open-ended education format that Rummy has come up with, and he plans on doing a future edition, I think sometime early next year, Rummy?
February 26th will be the first batch, like the basics. February, and we are also doing it parallelly in France, Paris, which you will come to Paris. Ashwit will come to Paris to teach, and the other guys will go from here to teach in India, and then you'll come for the advanced one in India.
Super. So, looking forward to it, Rummy. So, all right. So let's get back to our session of listening to music and giving our 2 cents about what we feel. So the next track we have is called Way to Home by Buds. I don't think Buds, I've seen you here on Eavesdrop before, so it's good to see some new names as well. Let's check it out. Nice, a rich musical track. But the only thing holding the track back is I feel the kick. It's just getting overshadowed by the really thick bass that there is, and there's absolutely no room for the kick. I think if the kick can cut out properly on top of everything else, you have a tune on your hands. Nonetheless, I think the musical effort is quite cool. The melodic parts and even the arrangement also to an extent. But personally, for me, I think this style has become a little bit outdated. To have so many melodic elements, I think plan it strategically that okay, a section of the track should have this kind of a feel, and then like maybe some build up with not like holding back the melodies a bit, and then having something else that fills up the gap, and then coming back again to the emotional parts in a breakdown or something, and then going back to a nice drop with some heavy elements. That could work really well in this case. Just a general feedback. What do you have to say, Rummy?
You nailed it perfectly. Yeah, you nailed it perfectly right. It's a cool track for sure, right? Again, for me, I'm finding the mids frequencies in most of the tracks bit too loud than the drums. Personally, maybe because I like drums, I produce more hard techno at the moment. But the overall track, it reminds me of it's an easy listening track. It's not a dance floor track for me. It's like a easy listening track driving on a. It reminds me of a. It gives me a vision that I'm driving on a beach road, long beach road, with a beautiful woman, beautiful car, sunset, So yeah, something like it's beautiful. There is no doubt about it. Yet, is it sellable? I do not know. Do people listen to it? Yes, people might listen to it, but again, it has to be properly mixed down. It has to be properly, like what Ashit said, yes, tension and release, creating those kind of things and giving importance to the melody. So people are craving for it to come back, So
yes, absolutely. I think a style like this could fit well on a label like and these, like, I haven't heard this music in so long. The labels have just gone out of my mind. But yeah, there's a comment on the chat saying, "Nah, this is Ben Bomber, bro." It does fit in that style of music. I'm not so sure of what labels he released on, but yeah, do check out some of his music. I think you'll get some inspiration from there. So cool. Without further ado, let's check out the next one, which is by Deodar, who sent us some music in the past before. Let's check out some of his fresh stuff. Some nice little elements going on in the track. I like that that little badass sort of mid bass going on. Quite cool. But I just felt like, again, the kick lacked a lot of punch. So this is where I can just give you a little quick tip. Use drum bus and the boom knob. It really adds that fat low end where it's missing, especially in a kick like this. Just tune it to the key of the root note of your track, or whatever note that fits your track, obviously, and it definitely works. I've been using this trick for some time now, especially on weak kicks, and yeah, other than that, I also felt like going out of the breakdown felt a bit abrupt. Nice use of vocals though. So just work on these little quirks, and I think you have a cool tune on your hands. Rummy, what do you have to say?
Yeah. For me, I think the bass synth, which is like whatever they're saying, it has too much of mid frequencies going in. Maybe it could be possibly a little bit more muffled, or maybe maybe it could create some more bass kind of frequency, like below 1 kilohertz. So it gives more attention to the kick. As you said, the kick is weak, so either you cut that down and make it more impressive. One is that, for example, and drum arrangement definitely could, if a good drum arrangement can possibly create this track, make this track a hit. And there were two, I think he used too many times the filter in and out, those filter, the thing going in. That's too much. You have to imagine when you're making dance music, you have to imagine the dance floor. You have to imagine your audience. You have to imagine yourself on the dance floor. When you imagine yourself on the dance floor, you make a good track.
That's
you are
a
the
golden
audience.
tip, Rummy.
Pardon?
That's a golden tip.
Yeah. Imagine yourself as on the dance floor if you're making music for yourself. Then second part with the growling sound, which is very good. I would say that could be the hook of the track to start with. And when the growling sound coming in, the growling sound and the bass, they were talking to each other more or less, right? If the frequencies are controlled properly, sometimes one is louder, the other is weaker. So that can create a nice story going in up and down. The vocals were cool. I think vocals could also be used a bit earlier, it can do those three elements together, playing together, in synchronization in a way, like you do a relay race, one does this, the other does this, the other does this. So you can do something like that. The track will be cool. And I think add some more cool drums, I would say.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And I think on the bass line, that thing, maybe add some nicer compression, side chain compression, nicer, so it kind of pushes in and out a little bit more. So possibly, yes.
All right. Thank you, Rummy, for your feedback. Let's check out the next one. So this one is an electronica tune by Nivedita Lakra. It's called ADHD 2.0. I think she released this track as an independent artist on her Bandcamp recently, and I think she's collaborated with somebody who's done a electronica version of it using her vocals. Let's check it out. So for those of you who don't know, Nivedita was one of our students, DJ students as well, who's been playing gigs around the country, and this is one of her tunes.
there in a moment or two. But who blow my mind? And who will I find? Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na.
Quite a nicely produced tune. I quite liked and enjoyed listening to that. Just my only feedback would be the mix. I think it's a self-mastered tune, so it's not really quite as powerful as it should be. Just maybe take a look again at the low end and the mids. Mids for a bit boomy for me. But yeah, I mean, the track itself is quite beautiful. Very nice use of even those breaths in between and some timely pauses as well. So yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say.
Same here. I think it's perfect. I think it's ready. It's a track which is released, which is finished, except the mastering part, would we say, right? And it's beautiful. It is very well produced, I would say. Even the elements at the back, just supporting the vocals. It has a clear focus that okay, the vocals are the most important part. So they played a very important part. As you said, the breath. First when I heard it, breath going in, I said, okay, maybe that could be avoided, but then I realized no, I think it creates a kind of a sound which is important for a part of the story.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I think she wrote this track as a ode to mental health, and yeah, I think she's done justice to the lyrics. And also
I think I saw her kind of post tagged on your Beatbox or something like that. She was in the studio in the last days, 1 week, 10 days.
Yes.
Yeah, she's the same one. Okay, because I saw the post, which is working in the studio with your the red one. What is that? Neutron. So I recognize the studio with a neutron in the front.
Oh yeah,
the synthesizer. That's okay. This is your studio.
Oh, that's my home studio. I think
Okay.
you're talking about somebody else, Rummy. That was Tanvi, my wife, who was.
And that's Tanvi. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She had like a interesting gig in the metaverse recently, and that's why she was sitting here and she had tuned into the stream.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a bunch of guys from Bombay who are doing these gigs, like virtual gigs. Turned out to be quite interesting, actually. Like it was like being in a video game, but with real people around you, who you could interact with, talk to, and make some new connections, while while being in the comfort of your home. It was interesting to see. Cool. So let's check out the next track. This one is called Mod Track 2 by Indra. Again, a new name. I haven't seen this name before, so great to see some new names sending us music. Let's check it out. So two things for me that didn't work in the track. One is the mix down, another is the arrangement. And also be careful when you have these dissonant techno sounds, which are great sounding, and then you combine that with an acid lead. I'm not saying acid leads are bad, but then they take up a lot of room in the track, and I really like the way the track started with the dissonant synth, and then after the breakdown also kicked in quite early at around 1 minute. Ideally that's where the track should have been building up a little more, and then that happened. Then the acid tune, the acid synth came in and overshadowed everything else, which was sounding pretty cool. Just arrangement needs to be tweaked. I think it's too long. This track is 8 minutes long. We only heard about 3 minutes of it. Yeah, I think these are my key takeaways from what I would change on this track.
I think I would say the same. Plus, I really like the layering of this distorted kind of harmonic sound coming, the way it was coming in, the way it opened it with perfectly fine. It reminded me of one of my favorite producers, Brian Sehaji. Brian Sehaji, you guys know?
Yeah.
I love him. I love this guy.
Yeah, amazing.
Right? Yeah. But what happens is like it becomes a bit draggy later on, as you said, So the dragginess has to be, you can still keep the same sound, but just fool around with automations here and there, some modulation. If you're playing it live, for me, this is a kind of a sound I will play live, on my machines, this kind of sound, those kind of modulations and everything, filtering in and out, distorted sound, and maybe add in some more aggression to be modern enough, add in some more aggression to it. Could be with the drums, could be with some arrangements, could be with something else, For me, techno is aggression now. Techno is not like drum code or whatever, So and today the technology is so cool. You have to keep experimenting. The more you experiment, the better the sound will become. And don't try, don't make a normal track which is available everywhere, because so many tracks are getting released. But this track had something, right? So if the story and the arrangement, what you said. And from my personal taste, aggression, yes, some aggressiveness coming in with the sounds, some saturation, some distortion, some variation here and there. That's my personal liking. I would play this track if all those elements fit in there. I would play this track.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So good track. I'm curious to hear the rest of the track after the stream. And cool. So let's head on to the next track. This one's by Saurabh Kothari. It's called Uncage. Let's check it out. Saurabh was a student of mine who took some one-on-one lessons with me, and he's been sending us some demos for a while now. So let's check out some of his new tunes. Okay, so one of my biggest feedbacks for this is that the bass and the synth, the main synth, they're both fighting too much for space, because I feel like the bass is also on the same octave as the lead synth, and obviously that doesn't really give way for the bass. And even just like about 30-40 seconds into the tune, when it had started, it was cool, but then when that mid lead started coming in, it started overshadowing the bass and even the kick as well. So just maybe drop the bass down an octave. I think it could do wonders if you do that. So a lot of people feel like, frequency separation is only done with EQs, but no. Even before you use an EQ, separate your frequencies by octaves. Have your bass sit in one the lowest octave, then like build from there. Have your mid lead an octave higher, maybe 2 octaves higher, then maybe another lead. The higher you go in the octaves, the more space there is for you to fit more elements. But the lower you go in the frequency spectrum, the lesser space there is to fit more and more elements. So be careful of this. Be mindful of this. Saurabh, take this feedback and send us more music with keeping in mind all of this.
I
Rummy?
will say the same. I will say the same. I think, there was, after some time, it started very well, right? After some time, it just, the main asset, but none of those was overshadowing everything, right? So it does happen as a producer. It does happen. Sometimes we get carried away, especially if you're coming from India. I realize that we are used to so much of Bollywood music. Everything is in your ear. Vocals are mid frequencies are always playing the main role. So, and electronic music culture, especially underground, is bit different. So sometimes there are some people who can manage it very well, like you guys do it very well. Arjun does it very well, But I do mistakes too. I do the same thing. When you start listening to the mid frequencies, which are nice and beautiful, you listen to them all the time. You want to give them the importance. You start giving them importance, and then you kind of possibly lose the whole flavor of the track. And I do it even now, to be honest with you. That's the reason I'm always very careful, and I get bored out of it very fast. And the more you listen to the mid frequency, the melodies that are loud, not properly mixed, matched properly, mixed down properly in the track, you might lose your the flavor of the track. It's a good track otherwise.
It also depends on the sound system you're hearing this on. If you're in an untreated room, even with like barefoot monitors, you're probably going to end up making some mistakes on your mix. Nonetheless, I feel like if you take that advice of building from lowest frequency, then one octave higher, then another octave higher, I think that could do wonders even before you do any EQing on the track. But yeah, I think we would love to hear more demos from you. Let's check out the next one from Nazaka, which is called Hope.
Oh,
Nazaka, nice tune, but I can only give you feedback from a technical standpoint on this one, unfortunately, as I don't listen to a lot of this kind of stuff. So musically, I think you can switch up your chords in the breakdown. Just use a different voicing, especially on that the tritone chord. I feel the slightly darker chord, which I think usually happens on the second chord of any minor scale. Maybe add like a fresh voicing to it in the breakdown. Also, that synth was like open right from the start till the end, no filter. That's something that kept going on in my head while I was listening to it. And also the snare build-up had a lot of low end on it. Yeah, I could hear it in the breakdown when nothing else was playing. Kick and bass, I think, good job. Vocals also decent job. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say.
I would say the same. Basically the synth, the kind of pad, and the vocals, they were trying to find a space for each other, right? They were clashing, basically not clashing, I would say. Yeah, they were on the same things, and basically the synth was open. You possibly could play with filters and modulations up and down, give vocals more importance at certain time when it's supposed to be given, give the pads more important when it's supposed to be given. So when they're all going out together, it kind of, it becomes like, okay, everything is going on. People are not trying to, a consumer cannot concentrate what he wants to listen to, right? He's not finding the right, basically I would say the pads and the vocals, they could be a little bit more, if there was a little bit clearance, able to, frequency cut off somewhere here and there, that could make this track good. I've listened to a lot of chill out stuff, I like listening to it, and this kind of music sells a lot actually. But if it's done properly, if it's mixed down properly, if those things with what you said and what I personally think, what I said, if you follow that, maybe it becomes better.
Yes, thank you, Rummy, for the lovely feedback. I'm sure we'll take it in a positive stride. Let's check out the next one by two oscillators, students of mine from pre-COVID era, who've been making some really solid music, and they love playing with their gear as well. So let's check out what they have in store for us today. I think that's a really classy mix down. Some really nice, cool elements as well. Just when that melody came in, that's where I have a little feedback. I think you should stop the melody halfway and leave some space for some other elements to come in. That could. It's a creative decision. I think you can go with the way it is also, but I would stop the melody halfway and do some other stuff in between, like maybe two different things in between, and then maybe a third thing just right before the drop. And yeah, pretty cool use of these Indian elements in a very contemporary fashion.
For me, I think the same. The melody possibly could have been can be treated like if you can be treated a little better, the sound wise. So maybe the mix down, maybe something. For me, I'm a fan of saturators. I'm a fan of distortion at the moment because it's very much in. So yeah, could possibly fool around with that thing because then it makes track more modern. Otherwise, the track is fantastic. Yeah, for me, it reminds me of those Goa deep house parties where in the morning people are dancing. It's almost like a side trance, but not really side trance. It's open. It's morning track. What do you call them? Yeah. But if you kind of modernize the sound a little bit, sound treatment a little bit, I think it'll become more modern. It'll become more cool. It's a cool track otherwise.
Yes, guys, great job on the track.
Yeah.
So we hope you take the feedback and maybe send us another version of this sometime soon. Cool track though. All right, so now let's listen to the next one, which is by Synaptic. Another new name I haven't seen here before. The track name is interesting as well. It's called Sentimental Taco. Cool. Let's see what's sentimental about a taco. I'm quite attached to tacos. I quite like eating them. Let's see if I like hearing it. Nice tune. Mixed down is half decent, but I just felt like it didn't go anywhere, especially with those promising elements. I really like that bass line. It's got that nice little bend going on it. But yeah, I think you could follow it up with a little more in a track like this. Maybe open up the bass line, like full cut off open somewhere, just for like a small like 2-bar section or something. Do something crazy there and then drop it back into the beat. One thing that I felt a little confused about was the use of swing. In some parts the hats were very swingy, some parts they were straight. Not so sure if that worked very well. Maybe if I hear it again, it might grow on me or something. But yeah, I think it didn't go as I expected it to go, the track. Yeah, I think that's about it from my side.
My side, layman language, it possibly, it got stagnant. It became boring after some time. Yes, but the elements were cool. I really noticed one element which was in the break, the synthy sound which was coming at the back, right? It came only once, and that was for me the catchy point. And I was expecting it to be used then, later, but I think it did not come back. So it was possibly one of the modulation on one of the things which came in as the recorded stuff somewhere, and it got unnoticed by the producer. So for me, a guy like that, if I hear the sound like that, that's my hook. That's the main part of the track. Yeah, but the bass line was fantastic though. It had that groovy kind of a thing. Yeah, but after some time, yes, it loses the charm. Why should I play the track? Why should I even buy it? It's something like that. Yeah.
Yes, it was promising, but it should have gone somewhere else, which it didn't. But yeah, I think maybe if you take this feedback in the right stride and improve on it, we could probably.
Maybe I would like to say something to everyone. I was told by this guy long ago, when you produce a track, imagine yourself as a consumer more than the audience. If you're standing in a club and the track is played, would you stop talking and listen to the track? Or would you continue talking? The track is at the background. Second step is, would you go on the dance floor and dance? That's the second step. Third step is, would you go and look for what's the name of the track? That's the third way. Fourth is, would you buy the track for €2? So make track where you want it to be. For example, if you want people to buy the track for €2, right? You make a track like that. So this is the right way. This is the way I produce my music now. Not now, earlier. Now I don't want people to buy. I don't care about it actually, to be honest. But yes, you want a track which is special, which draw attention from the person who's not even listening to it properly, and like, okay, there's this one sound which comes in. Okay, wow, what is this track?
That's some great advice right there, Rummy. I think if us can apply that advice onto our productions, maybe we could all be successful producers.
Yeah. This was given by Boris Pesha to me once I was playing, and he was talking to me.
Okay. I think it's some fantastic advice, some very quirky advice for sure. Cool. Let's check out the next track, which I don't know if it has a name. It's just a freestyle rap beat. Yeah, it's called Hi Bro. Let's check it out. Yeah, by all means, I think a rap could fit well on this, but I do have some technical feedback in terms of mix down. Uh, it was nice the way the track started off with just the transient of the kick coming in, but then when your 808 hit, the transient of the kick changed, and that's something that I've not heard happening in a track like this. Although I don't listen to a lot of music like this, but I do know they make space for the transient of the kick and keep the 808 separately in tracks like these. So either you need to like do a fade in on your 808 where each kick begins, or do a hard sidechain, whichever one you prefer. Also, most of the synth elements lacked a bit of sheen and that forwardness in a track like this, like what I was expecting. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
For me, it reminds me of my students in France. They make beats. It's called beat making is very big in France. They make beats for the hip hop guys, rappers, and they sell it online. So yeah, they start something like this. They do a rough version, which people listen to it, and they start rapping. If they like it, they finish the beat and they sell them accordingly. Like 100 euros, 200 euros, 50 euros, 20 euros, MP3 files, master files. But it's cool. I think I like this kind of things, hooks going on, personally on the hip hop stuff, So which was interesting. Yeah. And the mix down, I possibly cannot say much because I am not into hip hop and I am not a big fan of 808. So yeah, this I would say.
Yeah, pretty much the same here actually. But when they talk about an 808 in the context of hip hop, they mean that low end.
Like the boomy bang.
Yeah, it's basically like I think somebody who created this genre took an 808 kick and added a loop at the end of the kick and let it go on as long as they were holding the note. And I think that's where the name came about. Yeah, nonetheless, cool track. Just work on the mix a bit for the next time you send us some music. All right, let's check out the next one by Act Purple. This one's just called You, like the TV show. Two words come to mind when I hear a track like this: movie score. I think it's a very apt background score for a nice action-packed scene in a movie that's quite dystopian, is what I feel. Well produced. Just felt the intro was lacking a little bit. Maybe that's where you could look into this. But again, it's an experimental tune and maybe imagined for a scene in a movie. So it all boils down to what is being depicted in the visuals. Cool track though, nonetheless. Thank you.
For me, when it started, it reminded me straight away of Sting, Desert Rose, the intro of Desert Rose. And then I definitely did lose I could not understand what is a target market. Like if it, as you said, to me, it just does sound like a movie score or a background for the sound or for the movie or scene or theater, right? Building up a scene or other background going on, something like that. But it's not a dance floor music or it's not listening music, or it could be the intro of an album. A lot of people make the album, they start an intro or extra of the album, the first track, which is more like just to give the idea what the sounds will be like. Sounds are pretty cool and modern, I would say, right? And it's experimental. It could be cleaned up. It could be more. It could have more, sheen on it. The overall, overall it sounded. I think that's what it is. If your target market is making music for the cinema or for some scene or for theater, it's perfect, I would say. But if you're making it for dance music or if you're making it for listening pleasure for someone on a regular basis on Spotify, you want to listen to this track, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not one of those tunes that you'll keep going back to again and again and listen to. But if it's in the right context in a movie, I'm thinking like a movie like Dune, maybe, like which is depicting something like super obnoxiously dystopian that we haven't possibly imagined also even now. But I enjoyed that. So let's check out the next one. I think we only have two more tunes to go. This one is by Buku Family and the track is called As You Were. That's quite a quirky melodic tune. I really like the way the melodic elements were used as fillers. Actually, I didn't expect anything like that, and also the harmony caught me by surprise. When the tune started off, I was like, okay, maybe this is just gonna be another housey sort of tune with not much going on. But the harmony kicked in, and I actually was caught pleasantly by surprise. And the parts of some parts of the breakdown also reminded me a little bit of Toto Africa. For some reason, I'm not sure why, but that happened in my mind. Just one feedback from my end would be after the break, like that little part leading back into the drop, that felt a bit unnecessary for me. But yeah, I mean, this is not really a dance floor tune either. So you could be experimental in those terms and that regard, but maybe you can try and do something a little bit different there to keep the listeners more engaged. Lovely harmonies and lovely use of melodics to fill up the spaces in between. Quite enjoyed that.
For me, I find the sound treatment pretty modern, actually, to be honest with you. It's one of the first tracks which I heard today so far. The sound treatment of the sounds were pretty modern. It had some story, it had some, I closed my eyes and started listening to the sounds I wanted, because there were some sounds coming from here, some sounds coming from there, which were very interesting, and every sound was kind of special. Yeah, and there was a drop and and there's kind of a snare or something came in, which was kind of okay. For me, it was, it kind of killed the whole dream when I was going through. So, but yeah, that's my personal taste, possibly. And also it's your personal thing, some people like to unexpected surprises, which are always good. But sometimes when you have this thing going on, maybe you want it to flow further and go up and down, because there were so many cool sounds. The treatment was very, very, very cool, actually, I would say. So, yeah.
Yeah, the track's already become sort of an earworm for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If I would have listened to it on Spotify, I would like it. So it will always go onto my playlist again and again, possibly. And I would also like to listen to the sound. How did you create? There were some ring modulars and everything used inside. Possibly ring modulation was happening. I'm a big fan of ring modulars. So, I like sounds like that. In fact, if you hear my patches, which I make on certain things, they always have this kind of sound going on.
Metallic
ring modulation, especially on the Novation when I make. I always love to use ring modulation.
Cool. All right. Thank you, Buku family. We always will welcome you with open arms to hearing more stuff from you. Let's check out the last tune for the day by Inscape, another fantastic producer who's been sending us tunes from the very first edition of Eavesdrop. And here to round things off today with his track called Urban Exploration. Oh, that was quite a lively track to end the day with. Really like the use of percussive elements. Very tribally, very upfront. Maybe my only feedback would be try and just recheck the mix down once more, because I felt like the kick was just held back a little bit. Maybe it could have a little more of a release, the kick, and fill up a little bit more of that low end space. But yeah, I like the track. I enjoyed it.
For me, the sounds were fantastic, but for some reason, it did sound to me like as if it's skipping, or maybe it could be my internet connection. It was like, right? I don't know whether it was a part of the track. If it's a part of the track, then it was not sounding. It could be nice for little break, for a little while, but going on throughout, I think it was not sounding very interesting. But overall, if you want to make it as a dance floor track, I would use a very solid kick under it and a very clean thing on top of it. And this could be a part of the mid frequencies, like a very not in the front, but at the back kind of a thing. I can possibly relate to this kind of a loop and create a track out of it. I pick up those kind of loops, distort them and fool around with them, and then I wear a very good solid kick and solid bass and very clean hats on top, and then I make the track. This is how I make as a background in the tracks that I make. So yeah, but the elements were very nice, they were very modern, right? I don't know whether they're using Ableton or they're using some samples. I don't think there were samples. They possibly had their own synthesis, electronic VST synthesis.
I think it could have been some loops actually, because it sounded like some percussive elements like bongos and congos.
They got some loops which are
probably, yeah. Even that loop needed a bit of treatment. I would personally like compress it a little more, because there were some parts of it like sticking out a little bit, and I would have it like more compressed, say with a drum bus or with any like regular compressor, and just push down the dynamics a little bit and make it fit better with everything else. So yeah, that was the last track for this edition. It was lovely having Rummy as our special guest this evening. Some sound advice from him, which I think if you look at it in the larger sense, I think could change the way you approach music. So Rummy, it was great having you here.
Thank you very much for inviting me, buddy. And I look forward to see you very soon. I'll give you a call after this and I'll tell you what is happening on the other project, what we're doing.
Sure, sounds good.
Sounds right. Good. Thank you very much.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Those of you who stuck around till the very end. And see you again for the next one, hopefully, which should be maybe end of this month or early next month. Keep a lookout on our Instagram on Beatworks, and we should be announcing the next one shortly. And also keep a lookout for all the highlights of this edition as a post on Beatworks. All right, take care. Have a lovely evening. And for those of you who are in Bangalore, if you want to attend a gig, I'm playing at Indiranagar Social tonight. If you feel like stepping out, having a drink, come say hi. All right, see you guys. And yeah, thank you so much. Have a lovely evening ahead.
Oh,
and you too, Rummy.
Thank you very much, buddy.